So I'm sitting here like trying to figure out what I can do to make this video look better and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, well, that doesn't really it doesn't really fit with my being vulnerable. Being vulnerable is looking at the mess around me, knowing I shouldn't have procrastinated and and just done what I felt like doing when I thought of it. Well, I could. I'm sitting here, you know, on a Saturday night losing money. uh, Losing money because I sprained my ankle at work last night. And That's not fun. I'm a very integral part of the workplace. And so I don't like, I'm one of the important cogs that makes shit work. So like, I don't like this. Many, there's not enough staff to really fill my shoes at this point, and it makes me uncomfortable. I'm super disappointed in the way that this has turned out, but at the same time, I will get into how else I'm seeing this, and yeah, it's not fun. So I got my new chair, but like, no, just like keeping her elevated, right? And I'm on the third floor, and you can see there's no ACs in my window, and it has been like 80 degrees today, so it's like super hot. It's like being at home where I grew up. Like, there's no sleeping past 10 o'clock. The heat will wake you up, or it wakes me up. Like, can I breathe? Can I just breathe without feeling like there's a smothering blanket of pollen and heat on top of me? Um, you know, I drove my truck today I usually walk everywhere, so I drove my truck for the first time today in a while, and it has, it's not like the pollen in Georgia, for sure, but it was a good thick coating of pollen. Ooh, that's a nice cool breeze. A nice coating of pollen on my truck, and like even at work, out on the patio, at the tables on the patio, I can wipe them off, come back through to check them a few minutes later, and they got the film on them. So yeah, it's been a very pollinated spring. This is my first New England spring, so like last year I came up after everything had done pollinated, bloomed out, and all that. I came at the end of May, so yeah, I've been here almost a year, which is crazy. Um, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm kind of like squinching at the time clock. Um, it was 3:16, which anytime I see 3:16, that's John. That's my baby brother, talking to me, saying hi from the disembodied side of life, and yeah. So this is a breaking of cycles of me. Like, first of all, let's talk about the astrological shit going on. Okay, so we have got a full super moon in Scorpio this weekend. Yesterday was Friday the 13th, Venus Day, celebration of women, not some superstitious bullshit created by man to like downplay women and stuff. And What else have we got going on? There's a solar. There's a. I don't remember if it's solar or lunar, but there's an eclipse this weekend. I think it's lunar, and that's what's causing it to be a super moon, causing the moon to be red and whatnot, like a blood moon, which is a big deal too. And then we have what else? Oh yeah, Mercury is in retrograde. Mercury went into retrograde on the 10th, and we'll stay there until June 3rd. So, there's a lot with that, with, watch your communications, make sure you're clear, don't sign any new contracts, keep your travel plans kind of light and careful, back up all your videos and photos and stuff and things, and that sort of thing. A lot of technological disturbances with the Mercury in retrograde usually. Thus far it's been pretty light for me. Mercury retrograde is not just a time of, you know, shit coming up like that and your exes coming back in and being like, hey, all up in your DMs. There's a lot more to it than that. It's a time of looking and observing your life and its cycles and what needs to be revisited, what needs to be released, so that you don't repeat another cycle, because bet if you don't learn the lesson you're going to repeat the cycle. So it's better to figure out what the cycles are and how not to repeat them and change something. So yeah, yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear people. They've started the nighttime street tours and stuff like that, and I'm like right square downtown, so like everything is everything. Like I can hear my work fam coming out of work at 2-3 o'clock in the morning when we get out after bar backing and stuff, and after nightlife. Yeah. So, you know, I also hear the piano guy during the day. If you watch my other video, well, no, I think I just posted that video to Instagram, you know, about how grateful I was about, or how grateful I am about, you know, where I'm at, what I've done for myself in my life at this point, things that I've accomplished for myself. You see my stuff on the wall. Things that I've been trying to do for a couple of years now, and COVID's kind of blocked it, and other things, you know, grief, a lot of other things like that have blocked it. But yeah, I just literally woke up from a super duper nap, which I was dreaming. I dreamed a lot. I don't remember what I was dreaming, but I do remember observing kind of lucidly during the dreams that, you know, here's these repeat dreams again. They're coming up to the surface again to be observed and to be released during this definitely auspicious planetary and astrological alignment. So yeah, it's can I say it's not a surprise to me? Like I almost had inklings, just like I did last time I fell with this. It almost, in a way, it was almost similar to the same situation. Like last time I had trouble with this ankle was when COVID first started. And I was in discipleship school out in California, and I had, you know, my stuff had been healed. You know, my tendons, everything that was loose about my ankle growing up had been healed, and I hadn't had trouble with it in years and years. And so, you know, in at least like 15 years. And then I have a thing where whenever it gets cold, my hands and my feet just do not move. They do not move. And I had not listened to Spirit that day. And I was just like, at the time I was smoking, so I was like, you know, I'm just gonna, you know, COVID had just started, so we were pretty much under semi-quarantine. They weren't really strict about anything just yet, and so I would drive to the forest and go smoke, and you know, I was just gonna sit in my truck and smoke and not get out because it was cool. It was always cool in Northern California, where I stayed, and you know, Spirit told me before I left, like, you should put your shoes on instead of your sandals. You know, I was just slipping something on just to hurry up and go smoke. And I was like, I'm not getting out of the truck. Well, let me tell you, I wound up getting out of the truck, wound up dancing through the forest with my music and stuff. And like I hit this certain point in the forest where, it's pretty spiritual up there. And I was being a little cocky, singing my Ghostbusters song, so, you know, the one on Ghostbusters. There's something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Yeah, that song. And so I was just and I was being cocky with it. I ain't gonna lie. And so I could tell I was ruffling a few feathers in the spirit realm, up there. And so anyway, what I did was I was dancing along. There was a certain bridge, and my Pandora shut out. Everything shut off. And I was like, oh, Spirit's wanting me to listen. Am I listening? I just got back from Nicaragua on a mission trip where I had, like, laid hands on people and watched lame men walk, So I was like, okay, God. So, like, I see, I see this healing coming through me, but, like, can the healer heal? Can I heal myself? What about that? If you're supposed to love yourself before you can truly love others, then shouldn't I be healing myself before I really embark on healing others? And now I'm now unraveling how big that is. It's not just a physical thing, but so anyway, my Pandora shut off, and I was like, listening, trying to turn it back on. I was just, still kind of dancing a little bit. Came across this little bridge, and like, mind you, they've taken that bridge apart and, like, fixed it, because it's a bridge where more than one person has been injured. I'm not the first, and certainly wasn't the last, apparently. So my ankle, like, I went to step down, and my ankle rolled over. It just slides out sometimes, and I missed a step and everything, and I fell, and that shit broke. Oh, that shit so broke. I could feel the adrenaline kick in. I was like, oh my gosh, here I am in the forest. Hopefully my signal will kick back in. I'll be able to call one of my friends that lives in the forest, and be able to get him to help me get back out to my truck. And I was just like, my first thought was like, okay, God, spirits, here's our opportunity for me to heal the healer, so I squatted down and wrapped my hands around it and commanded it to be healed. And I could feel a certain amount of healing take place, like where the bone kind of fused back together somewhat. But and then I pulled myself to the side, and then these people who were like COVID scared, like terrified, were like trying to walk past me, and I'm like, oh my God, I was like, I literally just broke my shit, and you guys are just not even gonna talk to me. You're gonna walk by scared and put your mask on and all this stuff. Like, what? Like, woo, good job, people. And so anyway, I tried to stand up and make it a little bit further, and I was like, oh, I'm fixing to pass out. So I made it, a couple more feet, and found a place where I could kind of pull up off the trail, where I could sit, where they wouldn't be scared to death, to walk past me, because I saw them coming, and I was like, oh man, these people are scared to death. Because, even in the forest, we were doing social distancing, and with all the trees there to clean the air, precautions. It was brand new. Nobody knew really much about what to do with it. So, I ain't faulting nobody. But the fact that they, like, walked past me like they were absolutely terrified of me, like I had the goddamn plague or something, and I was just like, wow, that's not a good, whatever. It's scary that people are afraid like that, So anyway, so I'm sitting there, hands on my ankle and leg and stuff where it's broken. I'm sending more healing energy to it, working on it and stuff. And I get a message, and it was about, like, literally my friend. And he was like, "Did you hear that sound?" And I was like, "What sound?" And he was like, "There was a big snap." And like he was always connected with me, like super connected with me. Like he knows when there's a disturbance in my force. Energetically, he was very connected. And I was like, "Yeah, that was my leg. My leg snapped." He said, "Oh my God, it woke me up. I was asleep." And like, he's the kind of person that stays up for several days in a row, and so to wake him up from being asleep, it was a big deal. And I told him, I was like, excuse me, I was like, "Yeah, that was my leg that snapped. Can you come help me to my truck?" And I described to him where I was at, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I know where you're at." And so he came and helped me to my truck and stuff. And yeah, some of the best and sweetest and closest people that I've had in my life like that are, like, I love them, but when I see that, whether they realize it or not, or whether they can help it, or whether the entities that reside within them can help it or not, that they're taking energy from me, like, without permission, and it's really hard. It's really hard, especially when you love these people. It's really hard to distance yourself. And anyway, so, oh, we got 17 minutes on here so far. That's not too bad. So anyway, yeah, so it was kind of similar. 2 years later, I'm going through a similar thing. Like yesterday, the fog rolled in. I was outside, out and about. It was decently warm. It was in the 60s, upper 60s. And then the fog rolled in. And once the fog rolled in, it was fucking cold, dude. It was so cold. And like, I stood there for 15 minutes talking to somebody, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I've got to go home. I've got to, I can't feel my feet or my hands. I've got to go home." And then like last night, I had a feeling like, for some reason, you get these premonitions, these precognitions, these things that, like, you got a feeling something might happen. Like, you hope it don't. You're praying it's not going to. And it's like, "Please, God, don't let that shit happen. I need to make money this weekend. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to cause, I don't want them to be shorthanded at work, and all that going through my head, like, ooh, and I'm watching my body and watching myself. And then when I'm not even thinking about it, walking out the door with a case of beer bottles, shit happens. And I'm just like, oh my God. And so thank God it was just a sprain. I don't even have a fracture. And, if I stay on it and try to, just take some ibuprofen and do work anyway, there's a good chance that I will fracture something. So I don't want to do that. So yeah, this is the first time I'm like really taking care of myself on that, because when I did it 2 years ago, I took care of myself. Like, I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't have insurance at the time. I was still living off of an IRA I had. And I didn't even get health insurance. I didn't even think about it, because, like, I'm a healer. I do herbal things. I don't really fool with that mess much. But, not to say I hadn't sat in the hospital, like, several times with my roommates that year and made sure that they were okay when they needed medical attention. But yeah, anyway, so going through that on like a milder scale, like, I had the opportunity, I recognized the cycle, all right? the procrastination, not doing what I should have done, which I should have probably already had ankle braces, because I just should have. I just really should have, because I don't wear high tops at work, and my shoes are just like a little bit loose, where I had to get them big enough to, wide enough to fit my feet and be comfortable instead of squeezing them. But yeah, I mean, there's things that I probably could have done. At the same time, the way like, as you step out the back door, there was a platform that used to be in front of the door, and now that the door has been modified with like a mouse guard on the bottom, it doesn't hardly shut, and you can't open or shut it with that there. So that's gone. So my muscle memory's a little fucked off. And then, and then walking on out into the, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But it just happened, and that's just the way it works sometimes. And here I am, mad as hell at the universe, like, why didn't you guys, where's my spirit team, like, what's going on here? And it's, so I'm seeing it as an opportunity to change the cycle. Instead of staying at home trying to heal myself, this time, like, I did this at 2 o'clock in the morning, around 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to prop my foot up. I'm going to go sleep. When I wake up, we'll see what's up. And so I decided early on that I did not want to. I'm 39 years old. I'm not going to. I'm not pushing my body any harder than what I absolutely. No more pushing it. I have pushed my body for the past 39 years of my life, and this work hard ethic, push past your limits and be strong. Fuck that. Fuck that noise. That is noise in your head. Get rid of it. Take care of your body. It's the only one you got on this side of existence. So, at least for this time around. So take care of that. Don't be so hard on your body. Be good to it is what I am learning. And excuse me, that's those vegan quesadillas. So yeah, take care of your body. So I took myself to the hospital to assess what kind of damage I had, and thank God, I went with a book, went prepared, to sit there for a while, because that's just the way it is when you go to the hospital. And so I got through like the first 3 chapters of that book, and I'm just like, oh my. It's really addressing some things, and a change is definitely coming upon me soon with practicing the things that I'm reading in that book. More personal growth, and like separating from that self-sabotaging fucking voice in the head. It's gotten a lot quieter. Used to, I thought that was just me outwardly processing everything that was going on the inside. And yeah, maybe it is. And like, where I'm independent, I stay alone to myself a lot. And I thought that was part of just being lonely, and just allowing myself to hear myself talk, and talk myself through things. But come to find out, it's a little bit more than that, and something that needs to be addressed, obviously. So, happy Mother's Day to me. That was part of my Mother's Day present, was that book, one of the ones that comes after it, not his personal testimony, but the one that comes after it, and the journal and the cards. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So, I don't know if this is gonna do backwards or forwards. I've never recorded a video on YouTube before, so I'm using YouTube to record this video. But yeah, The Untethered Soul. The Journey Beyond Yourself with it's Michael A. Singer. It's really good. They've got a temple down in Florida. I look forward to visiting when I move back down there or when I go on vacation. So yeah, it's like you can see my little pile on my desk. I've got to get that organized, but so where I've been trying to upload my 25 minutes. I'll stop at 30 minutes and I'll do part 2. That way maybe it won't take so long to upload, because my other video from last night or from yesterday is still uploaded for no damn reason. YouTube, that's not acceptable. But we'll take it. So I'm gonna try this and see if it uploads better. 25, yeah. So anyway, just lots of things as I'm reading, and then there's it's cool because the nurse her name is I ain't gonna say her name, but let her stay confidential. But the nurse that was working the ER, she was from the South. She had a double name too, and I was like, I know with a name like that, you're not from up here, are you? She's like, no. I was like, where in the South are you from? I was like, I got a double name too. It's like I'm Mary Todd. And she said, South Carolina. She's from Charleston. I was like, I lived in Augusta, Georgia, which is right on the line, for like 8 years. I was like, I miss my Georgia Lina. She's like, yeah. She's like, I lived in Atlanta for a while. I think as she was in school or something. And that was cool. And then we got to talk, somehow or another, we got to talking about, there was a man trying to come in the door while we were trying to come out. And she's like, wow. She's like, men. I was like, yes, these northern men are just like something else. Like, these northeastern men are something the fuck else. I was like, even when, as she was wheeling me out to my truck in a wheelchair, and I was like, even in the South, I was from the North South, so women around the Kentucky, Tennessee area, women are treated like pack mules and property. Pack mules and property and slaves. That's what women are treated like. And, I'm not saying 100% of women, but I'm saying that at least 95%. You may get away with saying there's 20% that don't, but you'd be more likely to find the 2% that aren't treated that way. You know what I'm saying? So I fucking hate. I don't like it there. And every time I go back, they still try to treat me the same way, and I'm like, no, I know better than that now, and you guys need to step the fuck up and quit treating women like that. Yeah, I got friends that say you don't want to be browning from out of town if you're going through Kentucky. And that's just facts. That's sad, cold, hard facts. You want evidence? You want something? You got something to say about that? What about Breonna? I think her name was Breonna Taylor from Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah. So that right there is your evidence. Don't choke on it. But anyway, so I'm from the North South, so it was like women are pack mules and property there, and baby machines, and so when I went to Georgia, to the southeast, I was just blown away. I can walk, I walked, I went through AA down there, and you can walk into the rooms, even in AA. I don't care if these I don't care if these guys had mama issues, mama traumas. I don't care what they had. It was instilled in them. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And also, if a woman walks into the room and there ain't no seats, about 5 men are going to get up and offer you a seat. And they're going to stand the whole hour or the whole time. That's just the way it is in the South. And I was like, wow. Don't get me wrong. There's a certain amount of misogyny, disrespect in the South towards women too. But on the surface, they definitely got ways that you don't disrespect your mama. You know, you don't disrespect the women. That's not to say women don't get mistreated, abused, or raped there. It's not to say men don't grow up with crazy mamas that were hurt and hurt them. That's not that's still real. But as for a whole and a majority, yeah, it's a whole different culture down there. So like up here in the Northeast, they ain't like that. They just like plain straight up misogynist. They just hate women. Like they ain't got no respect for themselves or nobody. It's weird up here. It's wicked weird up here. You know, I'm not dissing it. I'm just observing it. You know, this is what I've observed. So yeah, it was a nice conversation. It's nice to know that I'm not crazy, that it's not just me. You know, they also have this thing where they think they've gone so far out of the way if they go to the next community over, which is literally 5 miles or less. Like everything blends into everything, so you don't even know that you went 5 miles. But they act like it's the other side of the fucking world, and I'm like, my God. You know, they act like Western Massachusetts, this little bitty state up in the Northeast. Like that's going west. That's moving to the end of the world. And I'm like, okay, what? Like these people need to see the redwoods. They need to know what it's like to have trees around them because they ain't got none here, and it's so dry. The climate is so dry. It's horrible. Because they ain't no trees, it's just buildings. And they're like, oh, we don't like the way these trees look. And then they cut them down and they're like, oh, now the sidewalk's flooding. Well, yeah, because the roots of the trees ain't drinking the water. Come on, people. It's like they don't use no common sense with the... Like they brought over this English, British... Like, I don't know. It's New England. Like they brought over the stupidity. The let's tear everything down and build civilization. No, it's like you become one with nature and work with your ecosystem in order for everybody to benefit. That's what we're supposed to be doing here. That did not happen here. It's just people on top of people on top of people. And there's no way in hell I'd go to New York City. Well, only for one reason would I go to New York City, and that's because that's the closest slutty vegan restaurant that there is for the moment. All the other ones are down south for right now. And definitely shout out to Miss Pinky Cole and what she's doing with her business and with, oh man, the woman's an amazing, I think mogul is the word that I want to use. I'm not sure if it's completely right or not, but this woman is a force of nature. She is a force of, she's amazing. Yeah, check it out on Instagram, Slutty Vegan. Anyway, so yeah, it's a whole different culture up here, and I appreciate a lot of different parts of the culture. You know, teas and stuff like that, and different things. I do appreciate it. I'm just observing. You know, I'm like, some of this don't make no sense. And like, once you point it out to them, they're like, yeah, I didn't think it made sense either, but that's just the way it is up here. And I'm like, just get out. And I mean, a lot of people from up here go to Florida. There's a lot of commerce between here and Florida, for sure. Lots of Florida tags up here. You'll see quite a few Massachusetts tags down there. And you know, that's their going away vacation spot, kind of like where I'm from, you know, on the Kentucky-Tennessee line. The Smoky Mountains is the big, everybody goes there on vacation, you know. They're starting to branch out towards the beaches and going to Florida now. There's been a few people from my hometown actually make it out west. When I say out west, I'm talking about the coast of California. I'm talking about all the beauty of this wonderful continent, this beautiful country. In between, like you cannot travel from east to west and deny that there's something out there so majestic and wonderful. Like you just can't. The rolling hills, the amber waves of grain, all that, the purple mountain majesties, the fruited plains, all that shit's real. It's real and it's still out there. Take a road trip. Do yourself a favor and take a road trip. If you don't go to no other country in this world, at least go across your own country. Stop hollering, we American, me, me. If you ain't going across your whole continent from coast to coast, shut the hell up. Now, I've not been north to south. I've not been border to border from Canada to Mexico yet. Now, I have been down on the Mexican border, dipped down under the Mexican border a little bit on a Greyhound as far as driving goes. Flying, I've been through Mexico and spent a week in Nicaragua, which was one of the most amazing events of my entire fucking life. And I didn't want to leave, and I've been on my way back ever since. Yeah, been on my way back ever since. It's such a beautiful place, beautiful energy, beautiful spirit of unity down there. But let's see, we got 36 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this video and I'll do a part 2 and see what it does and how it works. I'm exploring this, so let's see. Yeah, so trying to figure out where in my story I was. When I come back, I'll get it.